verse is, "Go eat your food with gladness and drink your wine with a joyful heart, for God has already proved what you do," Ecclesiastes 9:7. Today, we're doing that today, and we're actually going to be cooking out of a couple of cookbooks. So, I'm not going to give you guys the exact measurements, obviously. I just want to show you some yummy recipes inside of these books. Hey Google, set a timer for 5 minutes. So I just threw some slivered almonds into the oven. It is at 375. So we're making green beans almondine from a Joanna Gaines cookbook. And we are going to be making It's Nacho Chicken from the Simply Happy cookbook. And we're going to be making this nut-free basil pesto from the 52 New Foods Challenge. And am I the only one that thinks it's super annoying? How are you supposed to use a cookbook? First of all, when you're in the kitchen, the things flop around all the time. So I'm literally using all of my other cookbooks to like hold the pages down. But first, we are going to get the nacho chicken all dredged up. You guys definitely need to get this cookbook. We got it from Walmart. It's by Steve and Kathy Ducey. And we really like this recipe because Mr. Cameraman really likes this recipe. We made it for him once and he was like over the moon about how delicious it is. So we've got some Doritos here. And now we are just, let me look at it real fast. I don't know if I'm supposed to go into the flour first. Flour, okay. So we've got our strips and we've got our pan down here. So we're gonna go into here. For me, cooking is really about cooking for the people around you, cooking for other people. So I was really excited when I kind of got this harebrained idea to cook for Mr. Cameraman and his mom this evening. And my little trick is to just keep the Doritos in the bag. I think that it makes it a little bit easier. I believe they recommend a Ziploc bag, but I like just keeping them in the Doritos bag. One thing that's really interesting, tell me why a family-sized bag of Doritos at Safeway is cheaper than a regular-sized bag. So I got this big bag for, I think it was about $5, and the smaller bags were like $5.99 or $4.99 or something. So if you bought the little bags today, you got ripped off. Now, one thing, you're probably wondering why this skillet is over here simmering. I have never done this before, but in the Joanna Gaines cookbook, it wants you to boil the green beans in a skillet, or they word it differently. They say like saucepan. And then after you boil the green beans, then you add a bunch more deliciousness to the pan. So right now, again, I'm just dredging the chicken. Now that I've got a couple in there, and I really tried to be organized with this live. Sometimes my lives are not very organized. So I got, look at how delicious that looks. So I've got a number of ingredients already prepped. This nacho chicken is so delicious. Again, we got the Walmart. We got the cookbook at Walmart. And this video is not sponsored in any way by any of the brands or books that I am mentioning today. Hey Google, how much time is left on the timer? Ooh, I've got only 1 minute before I need to take those almonds out, and my hands are covered in chicken guts. I don't really do the one clean hand thing. I don't know. I've tried dredging many different ways, using forks, trying to keep one hand clean, and no matter what, I just feel like dredging is messy. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter. But I just got a bunch of egg white right there. These eggs are like really gloopy almost. But I know they're not bad. I just bought them today, but the whites are gloopy. Have you guys ever cooked out of the Steve Doocy cookbook? I think they have a couple. I've made a number of recipes out of this one. Like I said earlier, hey Google, stop the timer. This is my second time
5-minute one, which is up now on
using this recipe. So let me just try to get these all thrown in here really fast before I wash my hands. That's one thing I think that you don't see a lot of people doing on YouTube is washing their hands. I like to wash my hands every time I'm touching raw chicken, and obviously with a live you can't edit it out. So I'm going to get these coated in egg, and then without dropping egg whites everywhere, get them into my bag. Oh, holy guacamole, guys. Okay. That has never happened before. Maybe that's why they use a plastic bag in their recipe. Okay, so let me wash my hands. So, I think it's kind of funny though, because sometimes I'm a little bit chaotic, and I mean, that's just the truth of cooking. Cooking is not a, exactly the same perfect situation every time. Okay, so our almonds are toasty. We're gonna set those right over there to cool. And before I clean this up, since our water has been boiling for a while, now this is a lot of green beans, but I don't have like a sauce pot that would be bigger than this, so hopefully that's enough. It says we had to boil them for 8 minutes. Hey Google, set a timer for 8 minutes. Okay, now we're going to salvage our chicken Dorito disaster. And if something happens to you in the kitchen that does not go as planned, definitely do not give up, and certainly never stop trying new things, never stop trying new recipes. Sometimes it's hard not to get discouraged, but you really got to try your best. Like, these are still going to taste delicious. And now I'm just going to take those Doritos, and thankfully I've got a little handheld vacuum I'll use to suck up the rest. Now this, since I did use a big bag, their recipe doesn't call for a big bag, so I actually measured out what I don't need so that I didn't waste them. Let me wash my hands one more time. Okay, so now this chicken is going to go into the oven. I just want to thank whoever is watching. Oren, the chips are down. I know they are, man. I just saw your little message pop up down there. So here are the nacho chicken tenders. These have to go into the oven. Let me see how long they bake. They need to bake for, and if you don't make a huge mess like me, it's actually a pretty quick recipe. So if I could read this faster, they need to bake for 12 minutes and then 7 more minutes. Hey Google, set a timer for 12 minutes.
All right, 12 minutes. And that's starting now.
Thankfully, my Googles can have multiple timers. So now, another video you guys have to check out is this review video for this vacuum. This thing is a lifesaver. Gets into all the cracks and crevices that a big vacuum can't get. And this is probably going to sound gross, But the best part about it is when you vacuum up food and then you don't empty it right away. Every time you vacuum, it smells like food. So I literally, I vacuumed up some spices a couple weeks ago, and now it smells like spices. I think later tonight I'm gonna have to shift my oven because a couple of the chips did go down in the crack, but I'll clean up later. So now what I'm gonna do is get our dredging bowls out of the way. Yes, the vacuum is great for the car. We actually, the primary reason we got it was for the camper, because it is great for small spaces and it is so convenient because it's tiny. Now we're gonna work out of the 52 New Foods Challenge cookbook. Really excited to try this recipe, and I'm gonna try to double it. So we're making nut-free basil pesto. Oh, sorry, Zena. That's what I mean. There's no good way or good place to put a cookbook. So we'll just put it right on top of Joanna Gaines for a minute. Let me get my basil, and let me know, obviously, if you're chatting me in the chat box. Me and Zena really appreciate that. But after this replay goes up, tell us in the comments if you like these kind of like hectic videos. I've been noticing a lot of YouTubers that I like Hoaxscope, they have been posting stuff and doing lives that are a little bit more like crazy, like not super scripted sounding. So if you're kind of into that, tell me about it down below. I don't want to seem like a fake person. I mean, I want to tell you guys the good, the ugly, and the bad if you want to hear it. So I'm doubling it, so now I need sunflower seeds. Now these, I remember my grandpa used to eat these, I think. These, I don't think are a thing anymore. Because at Safeway, they only have one variety. And like every single other nut, there's like 20 million different ones. So I was forced to get seasoned, whatever that means. And I don't have these cookbooks linked down below, but after the replay posts on YouTube, I might be able to find them and link them down below. Oh, what's wrong, Zena? Are you hungry? Parmigiana. I don't know if all this is going to fit into my little baby processor. Maybe I should have done 2 batches. It seemed like a pretty small recipe, though. That's why I'm doubling it. And ultimately, I'm not changing these recipes. The Joanna Gaines one does include salt that I'm not going to put in because we don't own salt. I don't use salt. I use plenty of salty ingredients in my eyes. But, I mean, you can always substitute whatever you want from these recipes. Well, it does change the recipe, I believe. But if that's what you want to do, you're the boss in your own kitchen. So now we need some olive oil. This one also says that you can add salt if you want. It actually says salt to taste. But since our sunflower seeds are seasoned and Parmesan cheese is extra super salty, I myself would not want to add salt to this dish. But I do need, and the other thing is I guess all people that write cookbooks are fancy and they actually buy garlics and take them apart in their kitchens and mince them up. So all these recipes are for garlic cloves. I have no idea how big a garlic clove is, so we're going to act like 1 teaspoon is 1 garlic clove. So there's the entire recipe. So this cookbook is literally all about, they have chapters, it's just a whole bunch of different foods. And they're like kind of weird foods or fear foods like kale, certain varieties of apples, kiwis. So it gives you like 3 or 4 recipes for each ingredient, and it gives them to you in a seasonal schedule too. So if you have like picky eaters at home, that can be a really fun way to try new foods. Okay, so now let's give this a blitz. It says you have to do this for 2 minutes, but that seems like a really long time to food process pesto. I don't know why this is not. It's not being my friend today, guys. I didn't blow the breaker yet, but let's try it in this plug-in. Occasionally, I have been blowing the breakers in my kitchen lately, and I don't really, oh, it's not flat. Okay. Thanks again to everyone who's watching. Thank you. I feel like I'm not a good teacher, but thank you. So right now we're working out of the 52 New Foods Challenge, a family cooking adventure for each week of the year. And it tells me to blitz this for 2 minutes. So I am just going to do it until it's pretty darn smooth. We like our pesto a little bit chunky though. So our life verse is, hey Google, stop the timer. Hey Google, how much time is left on the timer?
On living room speaker, there's the timer for 8 minutes, which is up now. On kitchen speaker, there's the timer for 12 minutes with 4 minutes and 54 seconds left.
Okay, so that means this was the hey Google, stop the timer. So that means our green beans are finished. Let's drain them. Now her recipe says green beans snapped. But she says ends snapped. So I don't really know what that means, but mine are pre-trimmed. Let me taste this pesto and see if holy cow, that's good. But because of the sunflower seeds, it's a lot saltier than a typical pesto in my home. But it is still very, very delicious. So, what I was saying is me and Zena's life verse is go and eat your food with gladness and drink your wine with a joyful heart, for God has already approved what you do, Ecclesiastes 9:7. And we are really hoping to do that today because me and Zena love to cook and we love to cook for other people. We are so grateful that God has blessed this earth with so much delicious food, so many delicious fun options, and we can create whatever we want with all of these fun foods. So there is some butter. On top of our butter, we're supposed to put garlic. Again, we're just going to do a teaspoon for 1 clove. I am like stepping on eggs and Doritos right now, but this meal I think is actually going to come together pretty fast, so I did not want to start cleaning up until it's done. So now we have to let that go for 30 seconds. Then we add brown sugar, sherry, and apple cider vinegar. Okay, this stuff, you guys, makes absolutely no sense. This is sherry vinegar. It has 18% alcohol. I do not need an ID to buy this. I tried to get actual sherry because her recipe says you can use sherry or sherry vinegar. And they wanted my ID and said my ID was invalid. So you can either get this, which has way more alcohol in it than normal sherry, with no ID, or you can go deal with someone who's not very nice trying to buy real sherry. Now I do feel bad. I definitely sinned. I kind of went Karen-y on her, and I do feel bad about that. At the same time though, I just got so mad. So sometimes I really struggle with that. Like, I will just go from 0 to 5,000 because I'm so angry at someone. And I'm really trying hard to stop doing that. But if you guys have any tips, definitely leave them down below. And this is actually, I never buy light brown sugar. So I did for this recipe, and it says packed, so that's why I didn't pack it, so that's why I added a little bit extra. The other thing about cookbooks, tell me you guys if you feel this or not. When you're cooking, you're getting food all over the cookbook. Are you not? I just feel like I love cookbooks, but I just feel like they are so like not logical or not, I don't know. I just feel like they get messy and there's no good place to put them, but they're beautiful. I like literally never use cookbooks ever. Now I need apple cider vinegar. We're using this apple cider vinegar Leaping Leopard. If you guys have ever heard of Marty, super, super cheap groceries. If inflation is kicking you in the butt like everybody else, go to our channel and actually type in the search bar and search for Marty. We have an absolutely great Marty haul video. I lost my half a teaspoon, so we're gonna do 2/4. Okay, butter, garlic, brown sugar, sherry, cider vinegar. Okay, so now we get this all tasty. It says whisk, but I'm just gonna use this so I don't. Hey Google, stop the timer. So once the brown sugar is all dissolved, and you do obviously want to cook out, actually, in her recipe, she doesn't specifically say you want to cook out the alcohol, but I want to cook out the alcohol, so I do want to let this cook for just a little bit. Since again, that little bottle has 18% alcohol in it. And again, you don't need an ID to get it. Makes absolutely no sense. And the laws on IDs are very confusing in Arizona. If there's a lawyer watching, tell me about them below because they make absolutely no sense. So, now we need to take out our nacho chicken, which look at how crazy delicious that looks. And now, since it's still raw, I used this for raw chicken earlier, I'm going to use it again. Now you want to flip them over. The first time I tried this recipe, I don't think I used the rack, and it seems like the chicken did not stay on the tenders. Seems like seems like a lot of the Doritos just fell right through the rack, which is interesting. Definitely, again, out of all of these, the most aesthetic cookbook is Joanna Gaines. The most actually probably useful cookbook is the 52 New Foods Challenge, but this cookbook has some tasty recipes. The food in it is our favorite. Just because the chicken or the Doritos on a couple of them came off, I just gave a couple of them a little bit more Dorito. Now, oh, I didn't realize I turned that off. Now we're gonna put these back into the oven for 8 minutes. This is fun, getting totally crazy. I love doing this kind of stuff. Let's see if any of you guys have said anything. Dude, you are so right, Oren. That pesto would be delicious. I've made a bajillion different kinds of pesto. Never have I ever made one, I don't think, with sunflower seeds. And this is starting to bubble. Like I said, I just want to, her recipe doesn't say anything about cooking off the alcohol, but we are not drinkers. I mean, one of us is, but the other two do not drink. I just want to taste it. Ooh, wow. That is freaking delicious. And it's like, you can't pick out the alcohol, so just that quick little cook did it. So now we are going to add back in our green beans. I just noticed a stem on this one, so I grabbed it out. One other thing was the fancy organic green beans looked way nicer than the not organic, and they were the same price. So I will be interested to see how my family likes these. Normally, when I make green beans, it's more of like a half-cooked green bean that has quite a bit of crunch to it. This is a almost entirely soft green bean, but with a crunchy topper with the almonds, which I think is going to be kind of delicious. So let's take out that one. That one looks a little bit slimy. Dump in our almonds, which I have put nuts. I have put nuts in green beans before, and I know my family likes that. So I think this one, I haven't made this recipe. I think this is going to be crazy delicious. And I'm just going to leave it on the stove until I serve it. Let's taste it though. Holy cow. Best green beans I have ever had. Those are crazy amazing. So, green beans are done. Green beans came out of the Magnolia Table, a collection of recipes for gathering by Joanna Gaines. Definitely check that one out. The pesto is done. It came out of the 52 New Foods Challenge, a family cooking adventure. And the chicken that is about to come out of the oven came out of the Simply the Happy Cookbook. So, what we're going to do now is, hey Google, how much time is left on the timer?
It looks like you don't have any timer set at the moment.
Oh no! It didn't catch the new timer I wanted for the chicken. So we're gonna, hey Google, set a timer for 2 minutes. Just in case, we'll give that a couple of minutes. So now what I'm gonna do is get ready to serve all of this food, and then I think we're gonna be eating outside. So maybe I won't put them on fancy serving platters. I'm just gonna make everybody's plate and then go take them to them outside. These are absolutely beautiful, handmade, hand splattered in Italy. I got these at Williams-Sonoma. I am so grateful because now they're discontinued. So I am so glad that I bought them when I did. They are absolutely stunning. So now I'm just gonna leave these here. Let them keep cooking until it's totally cool. I just turned it off. Our chicken is about done. I'm gonna take this out of here and put it into a bowl at least, just so I can serve it up a little bit better. I don't know if you guys would typically eat pesto as a dip with a chicken tender, but I wanted to try something out of the cookbooks today. I wanted to try something a little bit different. We have had many different versions of pesto chicken, so it's most definitely going to be a delicious combination, just not a super common one. Okay, so there is the pesto. That's just in the main container. Now I'm gonna separate it into some little ones so everybody can have their own little portion. So I'll serve myself last. So I'll get 2 plates ready. Scoop up a little bit of the pesto so they can dip their chicken tenders. Hey Google, how much time is left on the timer? Oh my gosh, did you guys just hear me? I just set one. I'm glad that I doubled this pesto recipe because I think we are going to use all of it. We'll leave a little bit there just in case anybody wants to come and get extra. So these are totally done. So now I need to make some room here. That's one thing I'm bad about when I'm making a crazy concoction of stuff like this. I run out of room. The chicken looks absolutely crazy delicious. So we'll get a scoop of green beans. And we'll get a couple of chicken tenders. The chicken tenders like look wet almost. I don't know if they're done all the way. Maybe I should cut one open. That's strange. The first time I made this recipe, the chicken did not come out looking wet. So what I'm going to do, I don't want anybody to be eating raw chicken. So we'll take the fattest one. I mean, I don't know. I'm always a scaredy cat about chicken. Maybe I'll cut the big ones in half. And then I'll put them back in the oven for 5 more minutes. I'm always such a Nelly, what do you call that? Nervous Nelly about chicken. It just does not look done all the way. Bake 400. I know it's not that hot right this second. But we'll throw that back in the oven. Hey Google, set a timer for 5 minutes.
Sure, 5 minutes.
Like I
Starting
said, I don't want anybody in my family to be eating raw chicken. I don't want those to get cold. So I will shove those back in the pan. But yeah, so I hope that lady, I hope she's not too upset that I was rude because she wouldn't sell me alcohol, but overall I'm glad that I just walked down the street and bought this instead. And obviously I'm over 21, but you don't need an ID to buy cooking wine, I guess. And right here it says 18% alcohol. I've bought other alcohols, like I've bought all the alcohol that's in my house, so let's look at this for instance. So I bought this vodka, and this is 40% alcohol. That's tons of alcohol. But I looked at some sherry on the internet, and the sherry that I actually wanted to buy was only like 14% alcohol or 15% or something. So now I'm literally just waiting. Let me ask these people real fast. 5 minutes. Want to eat outside or inside? And, of course, now they want to sit inside, so let me put Xena down. And I will climb up here and get my pretty serving platters. These were also handmade in Italy. I got them from Williams Sonoma on clearance. Okay, so I like to layer these. So what I'll do is I will just get a bowl. Oh, sorry you guys. So what I'm gonna do is get a bowl, flip it over, and then this will be able to sit right on top. So that's a really pretty way that you guys can display your delicious food. We're gonna pop the green beans on this top platter. Again, these came out of the Joanna Gaines cookbook. I am amazed at how delicious they taste. Out of everything, this is probably my favorite recipe. And again, like I said, this requires either sherry or sherry vinegar. I couldn't buy sherry wine, but I could buy sherry vinegar with more, or sherry cooking wine with more alcohol in it than normal sherry wine. Okay, so we've got our green beans up there, and you might just have to, it's okay if it jiggles a little bit. I mean, nobody's going to be getting crazy, right? Now I'm just going to take our plates and our individual pestos over to the table. Hey Google, turn on the living room lights. The one thing I'm already noticing about this pesto recipe is it has already separated, and it seems to be separating actually quite a bit. So that's one thing to note if you want to get that recipe and check out this pesto. So if you're serving people and you're making a new recipe like that, you don't know how it's going to turn out, mix it up at the very end, or like stir it up at the very end, and then it'll look like it never ever separated. So now I'm running around like a chicken. Hey Google, how much time is left on the timer?
27 seconds remaining.
Okay, so now the chicken has been cooking for, I mean, quite a long time. So, oh good, and it does look drier then. Like I said, the first time I made this recipe, it looked very dry by the end of it. It did not look wet. But, thank you, hey Google, stop the timer. Thank you very much for watching this live. Me and Zena really appreciate it. If you liked it,
Okay,
when
I'm stopping any alarms and timers
this
that are ringing on your
replay
smart home
posts,
devices.
definitely tell us about it down in the comments below. And thank you to all who have been chatting us during this thing. It really makes me feel good when you guys express that you want to watch these videos. Again, I'm going to try to link these cookbooks once the replay posts on YouTube. I don't have them linked right now, but I would definitely check out all of them, especially the Steve Ducey one. If you liked this video, make sure to give us a big thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit that bell so that you never miss the next time me and Zena upload a new video. Get out and enjoy what God has given us, and get out and enjoy nature and food as much as we do. And I would not do this on a tray. Like I said the first time, I did it without a tray, and with the tray, all the Doritos fall in. But have a great one.